Once upon a time, there were 25 lead soldiers. They were brothers, because they were cast from an old lead spoon. They each carried a rifle on their shoulder, wore majestic blue uniforms with red stripes, and stood in a serious posture, looking straight ahead. The voice that the soldiers heard for the first time in their lives was when the box was opened. A baby saw them and clapped his hands and shouted with excitement, and quote, "You soldiers are so powerful," and quote. That day was my birthday anniversary, and I was given lead soldiers. The baby didn't and #39 take much time to arrange the lead soldiers on his table. 25 guys looked exactly alike, except for one guy with only one leg. Unfortunately, this guy was born last. The craftsman didn't and #39 have enough lead to give him both legs, so that was it. However, the amputee soldier still stood strictly on one leg like the others, and because of that, he later became more famous. On the table that you have just been placed on, there are many beautiful toys, but the thing that caught their attention the most was the magnificent and meticulous cardboard castle. You can look through the tiny windows to see inside. Outside is a row of small trees surrounding a piece of looking glass that pretends to be a lake. The surface of the lake reflects wax swans swimming on it. Overall, the scene is very poetic, but the most beautiful thing is a little girl standing at the castle door. The little girl is also cut out of cardboard. She wears a thin chiffon dress, with blue lace around the shoulders. She stood with her arms spread out in a ballet pose. She was a female dancer. She raised one leg high up behind her, making the soldier think she had lost her leg like him. If only I could marry this girl, he thought, but she looks so elegant. She lives in the castle, and I only have a box crowded with 25 brothers. I have no place worthy of fighting for her, but okay, I will gradually make you adept. He leaned over another box, comfortably looking at her more closely, while she still danced on one leg and kept her balance. At night, the boy put the soldiers in a covered box, leaving behind the one-legged soldier. The whole family goes to sleep. Now is the time for the toys to come to life and play together. They visited and talked to each other. Some played ball, others wrestled. Oh, all kinds of fun and excitement. From inside the box, the soldiers heard a noise and were desperate to find a way to get out, but they could not open the box lid. On the table, everything was dancing and tumbling, except for the two characters who had been standing silently until now, the dancer and the legless lead soldier forgotten by the boy. She is still in ballet position, with one foot up on tiptoe and the other leg thrown back. The lead soldier also stood on one leg, staring at her passionately. Suddenly, the clock chimed 12 times, signaling midnight. Pop! A noise rang out. A box opened, a spring sprang up, and a tiny black devil appeared. "Ah! Lead soldier! Where are you keeping your eyes and nose away from me?" the demon asked bossily. The soldier pretended not to answer. "Ah! This hand is delicious. So that in the morning you will know my hand," the demon threatened. The next morning, the boy woke up and hurriedly pulled out the lead soldiers and arranged them on the windowsill. I Don and number 39. Know if it was because of the curse of the black demon last night, or because of an accidental wind. The window opened, and the legless lead soldier fell to the ground from the room on the 3rd floor. It was terrible for him. He bowed his head to the ground. Luckily a soldier and number 39's helmet protected him from breaking his skull. his single leg pointed straight up to the sky. The boy and the servant ran downstairs to look for him, but they could N&39 T see him, because he was stuck between two paving stones. If only he had taken the trouble to speak up, perhaps the boy could have been saved, but this soldier respects military discipline and cannot shout when in a serious posture. It suddenly rained, and the rain became heavier and heavier. Water flows in streams along the roadside. When the rain stopped, two students happened to pass by there. And quote, "Hey! Look! There is a lead soldier. Let me pick it up and play." They tore up the notebook paper, arranged it into a boat and placed the lead soldier in it, then let it drift down the river. They ran after them and clapped their hands happily. Heaven and earth, the waves and winds are so fierce. The rain keeps coming intermittently. The boat rocked and toppled many times, and sometimes rotated around the whirlpool. The lead soldier was scared to death, but still had to act brave. He didn't N#39 T show any expression on his face, but still stood maturely with a rifle on his shoulder as if he was carrying out guard orders. The paper boat suddenly entered a dark tunnel, perhaps as dark as his box. Where am I? I think. It must be the black demon that harmed me. If only she were with me on this boat, even if I went to hell, I would be willing. And quote, a rat came from somewhere. Let me see your travel document? Yes or no? The soldier remained silent, clutching the butt of his gun. The boat kept drifting, the mouse ran close behind, it gritted its teeth and howled, and quote, stop him, the spy doesn't N#39 T have a passport, and he doesn't N#39 T know the password. And quote, the water flowed faster and pushed the boat further away. The soldier saw light at the end of the tunnel, but at the same time he heard resounding roars, terrible roars enough to make even the most daring people shudder. Just imagine. At the end of the tunnel, the stream opens into a large bay. The water here flows out like a waterfall. Who can endure being thrown down at such a terrible speed? The lead soldier was afraid as he watched the manhole get closer and closer but could not stop the boat. The boat tumbled down the waterfall. The soldier tried his best to stand firmly and wait for whatever happened to happen. The boat turned around a few times and then fell down. Water flooded the boat and number 39's cabin, dragging it down to the bottom of the abyss. The soldier stood helplessly, watching the water gradually flood from his feet to his neck. Finally, the water rushed over his head in that last minute. He thought of the beautiful dancer he would never see again. In his ears it was like a voice singing a marching song. The day many warriors advance. The shores of the land resounded with the words of decisive battle. The boat sank completely, and the poor lead soldier was floating in the middle of the water when a fish swam up and swallowed him whole in the stomach. It and number 39's dark inside the fish and number 39's belly, and it and number 39's too tight to move around. The lead soldier still solemnly maintained the posture of a guard. For a long time, he felt like the fish thrashed a few times and then became motionless. His eyes suddenly flashed open because of a ray of light. Once again, the soldier saw sunlight again. He heard a voice say, "A lead soldier." It turned out that the fish was caught in a net and brought to the market to sell. A lotus woman bought the fish, brought it home to be slaughtered, and as soon as she cut open the belly, she saw our soldier. She fished him out, showed it off to everyone and told the story of the soldier and number 39's amazing adventure that ended in the fish and number 39's stomach. The soldier did not feel happy or proud at all. The lotus sister brought him to the table. Strangely enough, the soldier saw the old scene again, the same baby as his owner, the same lovely toys, and especially the dancer still standing and dancing gracefully at the gate of the cardboard castle. Cardboard. She was still standing on one foot, her arms spread out, the other leg stretched out behind her. The soldier looked at her and saw her eyes looking back at him, but they did not say a word to each other. Suddenly, a child, the homeowner and number 39's friend, grabbed the lead soldier, without bothering to explain, threw him into the blazing fireplace. There is no doubt that it was the troll who cast the cruel curse on him. The soldier stood in the middle of the fire. It burned brightly, he felt hot. He could n/39 tell whether it was the heat of the stove or the enthusiasm in his soul. His skin color slowly changed from gray to rosy red. He was still standing looking at the dancer and saw her looking at him. The heat melted him into liquid lead, but he still tried to keep his body upright, his hand firmly holding the butt of the gun. The door suddenly opened, a gust of wind blew the dancer into the fire, her clothes caught fire and she too burned to ashes, next to the brave lead soldier. The next morning, the maid swept the fireplace and found a lead shaped like a tiny heart lying among the ashes of the dancer. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.